Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Not long ago here on Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, we were putting a radio from Custom Auto Sound in this beautiful 1969 Chevrolet C10 pickup truck. We promised we were going to put some speakers in it this time, and that is just what we've done. First of all, we were planning to put some kick panel speakers in the truck. The kick panel is a perfect place for speakers in a classic vehicle since you don't have to do any cutting on any of the door panels. But upon further investigation, we found the kick panel speakers were not going to work out in the truck. The owner of the truck had added air conditioning to the vehicle. It was beautifully installed, but it took up some extra space. So kick panel speakers were out of the question. So in lieu of the kick panel speakers, we went with the Undercover One speaker. Undercover speakers are designed to go under your seats or behind them, and we love the Undercover One. It gives you great sound. And these speakers feature piezo tweeters. Piezo tweeters are better than the old magnetic tweeters you grew up with. They give you better sound and the high range, and they draw less power than those magnetic tweeters did. So it's the perfect thing for this vehicle. You couple that with a 120-watt woofer, and you get solid sound, and all in an 8.5 by 11-inch package that's only 3 inches thick. Last week, we showed you just how easy it is to install the Custom Auto Sound radio in the dash of this truck. All of the wires and all of the harnesses on a Custom Auto Sound radio are color-coded and labeled, and the speaker connections are no exception. Run your wires under the carpet, under the door sill, wherever you need to do that, and just a couple of simple connections into the radio, and you are rocking. The Undercover One worked perfectly for this truck. And if you have more room, or if you want a little more oomph in the Undercover speaker, the Undercover 2 might be what you're looking for. With the Undercover 2, you get a bigger woofer and 2 tweeters in each speaker. Now, Custom Auto Sound has other speaker options as well, including the backseat driver. That's an amplifier with subwoofers all in one unit, and it's made to mount behind the rear seat. No matter which options you choose from Custom Auto Sound, you're sure to get terrific sound, and you're going to get speakers that work perfectly for your vehicle, your style, and your budget. You know, they don't make cars like they used to, and when it comes to style, that is certainly true. But when it comes to sound, you can be glad they don't make them like they used to. Radios from Custom Auto Sound look just like the unit that came in your car when it rolled out of the factory, but that's where the similarities stop. First, the sound is way better. In the glory days of the automobile, you were forced to listen to your favorite music on the AM dial and through some tiny little speakers on the dash. Well, speakers and radios from Custom Auto Sound are made in the same facilities where other major name brand electronics are made, and you're getting the best technology in the business. And here's something you did not have back in 1970. You get Bluetooth connectivity, USB charging capabilities, and a place to plug in your MP3 player so you can bring your tunes with you. Custom Auto Sound has over 400 different applications, just about any make and model you can think of. And if they don't have one specifically for your vehicle, they have universal radios that'll look period correct for your car or truck. One of my favorites, the slide bar radio. When it's turned off, it looks just like a classic analog radio, but slide the bar over and you've got a sophisticated modern stereo. Or how about the USA 630? It fits right into the dash with no modifications. And just like the slide bar radio, it looks like an old radio, but when it's working, the radio has a digital display that shows the artist, the song title, and the album name. And there is another option from Custom Auto Sound. If you want to truly keep your original equipment in the dash, but you still want to hear your music loud and clear, Custom Auto Sound has the Secret Audio Radio. You get your Bluetooth, AM/FM radio, iPod control, CD control, and it integrates perfectly with your speaker system. And here's why it's called the Secret Audio Radio. The unit hides usually under the seat or behind the dashboard. You'll get to keep your vehicle's vintage looks, but you'll get all the technology that you get in a brand new stereo from the brands you know. Custom Auto Sound radios aren't just about looks. The company has super strict standards, and they put every one of their radios through rigorous testing before they even leave the factory. Our Motorhead Garage crew and I got to see it for ourselves when we paid a visit to Custom Auto Sound's headquarters. We watched the technicians hand assemble every single radio, and they took their time to make sure everything was perfect. Once the nuts, washers, and knobs were put on, they powered up every unit and tested them just to make sure they were ready to go in your dash. Great people at Custom Auto Sound, superb customer service, top-notch products that look just like your car's original radio, but packed with the latest technology. Custom Auto Sound has radios to fit hundreds of different makes and models, and you can be sure that they'll have one that works for you and for your budget. We'll return with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, so don't go anywhere. Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics, Shade Wagon, throw some shade, and by DragonFireTools.com, industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. Motorhead Garage is presented by DragonFireTools.com. And CLAMPTITE is the clamp making tool. And you know how I know it? Because it says so right there. I also know because they've been on the show before. And Sonora, you've been here before to show us the virtues of the CLAMPTITE tool. Basically, it replaces any other hose clamp you might find on your vehicle. You can also do a lot of repairs with it. We can show that as well. But this is what you're used to. In an older car, you have these tower clamps. And you just screw right down on there. And these are the spring clamps that sometimes come with an OEM piece. You try to, once you get that initially installed, you're not getting that off and you're not reinstalling it. Those are difficult to use. And then of course the worm gear type clamp that we're all used to, and we've all cut ourselves on it if we're used to it. I know I have.
Me too.
And you have as well. So the CLAMPTITE tool replaces all of those. You're looking at right here at a beautiful clamp from CLAMPTITE used making wire. Now, how is it better? I mentioned in a couple of ways it's better than that, but why do I want to use a CLAMPTITE tool instead of some of these?
It is simply better. It's easier to use. It's the right size every time. It does give you a true 360-degree seal that other clamps don't. This gives you that flat spot in that big housing, and they do come in sizes. And how many times have you been in the toolbox? You've got maybe 10, 12 of them, wrong size, back to the toolbox. But this will be the right size, right shape every time. It's just really a better fit.
All right, so let's see how to make a CLAMPTITE clamp here. We'll take off this tower clamp, and I know you want to use this string here as a guide. We go around this, what, 4 times?
Yes.
And see how much wire we're going to need. Of course, you can guess at it and trim off the excess, but if you want to save wire, you can just do it this way. All right, so we're 4 times around. We want to mark our spot there.
That just gives you how much wire you need around.
Okay.
You need the circumference.
Cool. Yep, and there you go.
And then we add like 10 inches because it's a small wire.
Okay. And away we go.
And we mark from there.
Yeah, sure.
Just for 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I know a lot of folks are looking at this and wondering how strong a CLAMPTITE clamp is compared to a traditional hose clamp.
And it's actually 10 times stronger than a regular hose clamp.
Wow.
All right, so this is how we're going to do it. Go through the loop, we cut the wire to length, and actually we have a little pamphlet instructions that will help you too, and if you'll go step by step.
And you've also got some videos online which will help too.
Absolutely. So you go through twice. We wrap the wire around the project. Now we're going to connect the tool. And what you're going to do is go over the top of your pins on both sides.
And then this will be a way to tighten it up right there on the spot. Make your custom clamp the same, whatever size you need, CLAMPTITE can do it.
Gives you options. Sometimes you just need some options on how you're going to fix something. But with the hot rod guys, they just love this big, like I said, it's a better tool or a better clamp.
And there's some big names out there using your clamps, actually.
There is.
Builds.
There is, like the Amber Award, Alan Johnson with his group, and they've won that several times as they built different cars for different people. And he's kind of a friend of ours. We've seen him at different shows and different things, and he just loves the CLAMPTITE, as well as
Will with Big Oak Garage.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got a lot of very cool builds, and I've seen your clamps on some of his builds.
So you can check it out. This is we've got it as tight as we need it. All we're going to do now is pivot it over and lock it. That's what sets that clamp. And then pull this off.
Spin it off.
That's it.
And you can see here on the table we've got different sizes of CLAMPTITE tools for different applications, different gauges of wire and stuff like that. But this is your bread and butter right there. That's the tool that most folks have. You can carry that in your glove compartment, and you want to make an emergency fix on the side of the road. This will get you home at least. And in this case, this is a clamp that's going to last forever. Now Now I know that you can use this if you're going to a show or something and you want it to look like your authentic CLAMPTITE on your antique car, you can put your tower clamp right back over it, and no one will be any the wiser, and you'll have a better seal than that. And quickly, for folks that are out there saying, well, I can't reuse that. That's a permanent clamp. How do you take off the CLAMPTITE clamp?
It's super easy. What I do is you can see that where we made the clamp, it's slightly elevated. So I like to grab those elevated pieces of the wire, pull those out of the way, and then grab the piece in the middle.
And that's it.
And it's off.
And if you do it carefully, you can reuse that clamp over and over again. Absolutely. Tell you what, these are the cleanest looking, strongest clamps in the business. If you got to do a repair or you got to build, you want the CLAMPTITE tool, you can find it at CLAMPTITEtools.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage and more great products for your vehicle when we come back. Hey, you like trivia? Well, we've got it, courtesy of the Shade Wagon. If you don't know the answer, don't worry. We'll have it for you in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. We still have more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com on the way. Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, coming to you from the Shade Wagon studio. Hey, we would never leave you hanging. Here's the answer to this week's trivia question, brought to you, of course, by the Shade Wagon.
Now, removing lug nuts with an impact gun, no problem. Putting them back on, that's no place for gunplay. Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. We're talking about torquing lug nuts to the proper specification. First off, why do we want to do that? Well, you want to make sure the wheel's secure, that's important. And second, you don't want to do any damage to the studs, the lug nuts, or warp the rotor or hub assembly. Torque specifications are key. How are you going to do it? Well, we can use a torque wrench. It's pretty simple. And you want to use a torque wrench and go in a star pattern. No matter what your lug pattern is, just go in a star pattern and you should be fine. How do you do it? Well, you set the torque wrench to the proper specification. You go around to each one of your lugs going in that star pattern. Click, click, click if you have a click-type torque wrench. If you have a digital one, just look at the torque specifications on the gauge. Once you go around, you make sure that wheel's secure. I like to go around about twice. And why do I do that? And why do we go in a star pattern? Number one, to keep it secure. And number two, we're going to distribute that torque equally around that rim in that star pattern. Second, we can actually use these torque limiting adapters. In industry, we just call them torque sticks. They're like a big torsion bar, really. You can see this one's really, really thin, and the other ones are thick. They're different torque specifications. What do? Well, that's nice because you can use the gun. But when you use the gun, you have to use the torque limiting adapters on it. Just go around once again in a star pattern. You're distributing that torque evenly, and you're not doing any warping or damage into that rim. You hit it about 4 or 5 clicks with that gun, and then you're good to go. Len, a lot of misconceptions when we start putting these things on. I mean, Annie sees this is great stuff.
It is, and sometimes people like to put that on the lug studs, or they'll actually put it on the rotor. The problem with that is it's extremely viscous, it's very thick, and what happens is you get all your torque done, and then it squeezes out of there, your tire ends up loose.
And your torque specifications are not going to be right. Don't use it.
So we recommend, if you want some rust and corrosion protection, use something thinner, like our metal protector. You go ahead and spray it on the lug studs, spray it on the rotor. Don't get it on the rotor surface, obviously, but get it where the studs are going to go. Put your lug nuts on there, you get your rust and corrosion protection, and you don't have any of those problems using anti-seize.
Now I'm in Florida, you know, we got salt water and stuff, but you're up north. I mean, these things get nasty.
They do. They tend to rust on, and you see videos of people knocking them off with sledgehammers and all kinds of stuff. Just hit it with a little rust and corrosion spray, you're good to go.
Let me ask you a question. I had the whole hub assembly off, and you know, the rotor face to the actual hub. We could spray it there as well because we get some problems there. We get some pedal pulsation or some lateral run out on that rotor. Not a good thing.
No, it isn't. So once you get it all cleaned up, go ahead and hit it with some of that. You can do the same thing with your rims. If you've got an aluminum rim, dissimilar metals, you can see that corrosion in there. This will help that.
Give me that, Len. This one's coming home with me. You know, there's a proper technique for putting lug nuts on, as simple as it seems. And there's a proper technique for all your fluid services. And for all those fluid services, just go to amsoil.com.
My name is Dwayne Mentor, and this is my 69 AMX. It's a 1969 AMX. I've had it for 25, 27 years now. It wasn't this condition when I got it. Did a lot of restoration work, paint, motor, transmission, bring it up to what it is today. I wanted to be different. There's Camaros, Mustangs, all that kind of stuff. Everybody's got those, but you don't see these much. It really stands alone those years with the style, the sail panels. You could readily pick it out as an AMX. This was a Matador red factory color, and I wanted to keep it that color. I started out wanting to keep it completely original, and then I changed course because 20 years ago it was harder to get parts. So did some minor changes, but it's still pretty stock. I carpeted the trunk, some little stuff like that. I got all my seals from steel rubber, and they work great. Fit great, great product. American Motors, they were really fast cars, and they are, and they're different. And that's the muscle cars. Get your youth back while you're driving it anyway.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store. American Muscle, the aftermarket muscle car experts. And by LaFrance Performance, top-notch engine performance. Motorhead Garage is presented by DragonFireTools.com. We've got a lot of great new stuff for you on this episode. We've also got some stuff from the archives that we hope you'll enjoy, including this one. When it comes to motorcycling, you know, you're out there to have a good time, but safety is the most important thing here, Keith. How does Eagle Lights sell safety?
Yeah, we sell lights and safety. We sell plug and play, high grade, high performance lighting for Harley Davidson and Indian motorcycles.
So what's wrong with the OEM lights that these motorcycles come with?
They're not bright and they're not safe. We offer plug and play high grade replacements for them. They're 3 times brighter and they're the best you can get.
How important is safety when it comes to riding a motorcycle? You ride yourself.
Yeah, it's the most important. If you want to keep riding, you want to stay safe.
And naturally lights help you see, and they also help you to be seen, and that all starts with the headlights.
Sure, so these are plug and play, at least 3 times brighter than the stock headlight. So when a non-company car is coming towards you, they're going to know you're there and you're going to be able to see what's on the road in front of you.
Excellent. Then you have a couple different styles here.
We have a variety of colors and a variety of styles. So we have our Halo style. It's a aesthetic upgrade. Some guys like that Halo look. We also have them available in chrome and black.
And let's go to the back of the bike now and talk taillights. Same sort of story there. You want it to look like it fits with your bike.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of different styles. This one's going to be one of our most popular. It's a strobing taillight. What ends up happening is when you hit the brake, it's going to strobe 3 times to let the people behind you know that you're there.
And most accidents on bikes happen when bikes are stopped, actually.
Yeah, at intersections and when turning. And that's when you're going to see the benefit of that light.
Cool. And then you've got the red one and a couple other models as well?
Yep, we have them available in red, clear, and smoke. Today we have the red and the couple of smoked versions. And we have available in a bunch of different sizes. So these are layback design, which is a bit of a more sleek design. We also have them in a low profile if you don't want the blocky stock taillight.
Harley folks love to customize their bikes. They love different looks. How do you cover all that when it comes to the turn signals and the running lights?
So we have a bunch of different styles. These ones feature full running lights, all 48 LEDs, they light up white, and then they also color changes automatically to amber. So you don't actually have to do anything, it's all built into it. The ones on the bike that we installed, those have 24 white LEDs that go around the outside, and then there's going to be another 24 on the inside. A lot of guys like to use those to match the Halo style lights that we have.
And let's talk about installation for all of the lights here. You installed them in the studio. Didn't take a whole long time at all. How important is ease of installation to you?
Incredibly important. So we like to make things a 5-minute install. Taillight, it's 2 bolts and a plug. The headlight, 1 bolt and a plug. We like to make things simple. We have easy to follow instructions on our website, but honestly, you probably don't need them. It's pretty simple.
Obviously, folks are going to want to spend more time riding their bike than fixing it, so the ease of installation is important. Also, customer service when it comes to actually ordering these lights. How important is that to you at Eagle Lights?
Incredibly important. So if you call us, you talk to a real person. You talk to one of us. We'll help you. If you just call us with a year, make, model, we'll get you the right lights.
And speaking of year, make, model, how many different bikes do you cover? Is it just Harleys? Do you have other stuff available?
In the thousands. I mean, we cover Harley and Indians, our main specialty, but we carry stuff from Honda, Triumph, you name it. We have a lot of lights for it.
And how do I know what you have in stock for my bike?
It's pretty simple. You just go to eaglelights.com, you punch in the year, make, model of your bike, and it will tell you exactly what you need.
So if you're not just looking for a headlight, then finding if it fits your bike, you put in your bike and it'll tell you everything that's available for that motorcycle. It's super cool. Folks that use your products, how much feedback do you get from them, and how much of your R&D comes from that?
A lot of it. We talk to Harley and Indian motorcycle owners all the time. They tell us what they don't like, and we release new products based on their feedback.
How important is it that you guys at Eagle Lights are also riders and you know what works, what doesn't work, and that sort of thing?
I mean, I ride myself. I mean, that's how we started the company. So we wanted to make better lights because there were none available.
I know you're concerned with delivering a high-quality light that's easy to install. What if there's an issue? What kind of warranty do you offer?
Any of our lights, it's a lifetime warranty. As long as you own it, we'll take care of you.
Can't get any better than that. These lights are super high quality, way better than the OEM lights. They're going to help you be seen, and they're going to help you see out there on the road. Check them out at eaglelights.com. Just a few months ago, John Force was our paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week. We wished him well after he suffered a huge crash in Richmond. Well, when John was sidelined, the team tapped Jack Beckman, Fast Jack, to be the pinch hitter. Beckman had big shoes to fill, but he was up to the task. Beckman got to the winner's circle twice in Force's car, and he finished second in the season point standings. You know, if it wasn't for teammate Austin Prock and his epic season, Beckman likely would have brought John Force a 17th funny car title. So here's to Jack Beckman, the super sub, and our paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week. You know, Motorhead Garage comes to you every single week, and in between, you can catch past episodes on YouTube, Hulu, DirecTV Stream, Fubo, Pluto, Sling, and Philo, just to name a few. Until next time, so long, drive safely.